Okay, YouTubers, Stampede Survival back for another video. This time I chose to do my video on my Altoids Survival Tin. Now I've got a few of these put up in different packs, and basically what I do is, like if I'm going backpacking, this is something that I would take out of my pack as soon as I arrived in my site and place in a cargo pocket before I even started the hike. This is something I had to keep in my cargo pocket as a last-ditch survival kit. You know, it doesn't have everything. You know, obviously it's an Altoids can, so you can't fit too much in there. But I think I've got the basics to, you know, help me get out alive. You know, if I were to get lost in the woods or, you know, on a hiking trail somewhere. So I'll go ahead and stop the video. I'll take the contents out and I'll show you what I got in it. All right. Okay, I'm back. This is the contents of my kit. As you can see, it's not too elaborate, but it is just an Altoids kit, so you can only put so much stuff in there. So, but I tried to narrow it down to, you know, the essentials for a last-ditch survival. And like I said, this is something that, you know, as soon as I get out of my car, when I arrive to a hiking site or to a place where I plan on camping, you know, I throw this in my cargo pocket in my pants. And that way I know I always have a last-ditch method. You know, there's times when you're hiking, you know, you set your pack down, you walk off to, you know, use the restroom, you know, do what you got to do, and you get lost. You get turned around. You know, I've been pretty fortunate. It hasn't happened to me, but it happens to people, so I like to be prepared. And so these are just a last-ditch method, so I know I have some gear on me to help me get back to civilization. And some of the things that I have in here, number one, I've got some zip ties. I just have 4 small zip ties here, and you can use these for so many different things, for repairing your gear, to helping build a shelter. You know, there's dozens of uses for zip ties, and usually you don't think of the uses until you need one. You know, you're trying to repair something, you're like, oh man, I wish I had a zip tie, and you know, so I throw them in there just for that purpose. I've got 2 cutting tools. One is a small jigsaw blade, and I actually fabricated a handle. It's just duct tape wrapped around it, so I can also use that duct tape for repairs if I need to. This is great for building shelters, you know, cutting through fish bones, whatever. It works pretty nice, and I've actually used this a few times. All the lettering is wore off on the side there, but it works really nice for such a small, lightweight blade. These are excellent. And I also have a small razor knife, and I picked these up pretty cheap at a hobby store. I think I paid $2 or $3, and I got 3 of them. And it's just a utility knife, a small razor blade. And you can use it for cleaning fish or, you know, cutting any type of material you need to cut. These work really well. Also for food, I've got a baggie here, so I'm just going to pick up the contents off the bag. And basically I have just a few fish hooks and some split shot, so I can use this for fishing. Most of the places where I hike and camp, there's plenty of streams or lakes nearby, so these would be great for you know, catch your own bait, you know, slap on a worm, where I can catch some food, which would be excellent. Also over here I've got a needle, a small needle, and a couple of safety pins. And these are great for repairing gear, or if you get a button torn on your pants or your shirt or whatever, you know, you can use safety pins to help mend your clothing. And then a small needle for sewing. And to go along with those 2 baggies there I showed you, I've got 1 small spool of thread, which in an emergency situation I could also use for fishing line if you needed to. But I use that with the needle for you know, mending things, quality of life type of stuff. And then I also have a small spool of this is I believe it's either 10 or 12 pound test fishing line, and I think there's about, I don't know, 50 feet of it or so. It's not a tremendous amount, but it's enough to make a couple casts, provided I don't get a snag somewhere. But if you're fishing in a stream, you know, or small, you know, real small river, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then also I've got a small micro light here, and these things are great. A couple of different levels, and then also a flashing mode. And I love these lights. They're super bright. When I first bought this light, it had a metal clip that was attached to it for attaching to your zippers. I didn't really like that. I didn't like the way it felt. So I went out. What I did is I bought some of those zipper pulls. And I actually bought these at Walmart for I think it was like $1. You get 4 of them. I think they're Ozark Trail, and basically clipped it onto the light. So now I've got a nice little handy handle for it. So I'm reaching down for it. It's easier to find. That little clip was just flimsy and just felt weird. So I went and took it off, put that on there. I like that a lot better. And then for fire, I've just got a simple book of matches. Keep them in a plastic bag to keep them dry. I put an extra striker in there because sometimes these strikers wear out on the back. And then also what I carry in pretty much every kit is some Vaseline soaked cotton balls. And this stuff is just fabulous. I mean, this stuff works so great. I could start several fires with this. So between the matches and the cotton, I know I'm going to be warm and be able to boil my water and cook anything that I may catch. And then also I've got it's about 10 to 12 feet of paracord, which I keep wrapped around the container while it's in my pocket. And you can use this for, there's several videos on uses of paracord, and maybe I'll put one out too. But since this is the good stuff, there's 7 inner strands. So, say this is 10 feet, I basically have 80 feet of total use of cordage. I have the 7 inner strands plus the outer sheath, so give me 80 feet of line to use if I need to break it down. But yeah, you can use this for shelter building, for mending clothes, to fishing line, to making snares. You can use it for a lot of stuff. So I went ahead and kept that in my kit. And then of course there's the container itself, which you can use to boil your water. Lots of different things you can use for this. It's got a pretty shiny inside, so you use it for signaling. These things are nice. You can use it for gathering berries, whatever. But yeah, that's the gist of it. So that is my Altoids Survival Kit. Please feel free to leave any comments or suggestions. Like I said, this thing will evolve over time. It's changed several times in the last few months. This is just the last setup that I've put together, and it seems to be working. But I'm sure a few weeks from now I'll say, you know what, I should change this around and add something else to it. And I probably will. So. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Like I said, if you have any comments, suggestions, good ideas, go ahead, feel free to leave them. And if you have any questions, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks again for watching, and God bless.